Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Matt Jarbo. Welcome back to this episode of Patio Commentary. Today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts, my opinions, my views on the 2025 live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch. This is a 23-year-old reboot in the making, if you will, and one that is going to definitely pull in a lot of money. This thing went gangbusters over the Memorial Day weekend. When I was at the theater today with my kids, I saw a lot of people dressed in Stitch merchandise. We went to the store after watching the movie. They had a Stitch doll on sale for pretty cheap. We bought that. And then when we go to Costco later on today, they've got Stitch Squishmallows for $25. And I told my kids I would get them one. So yeah, this family has been taken over with Lilo and Stitch fever. And I got to say, it's actually a really good movie, although it is entirely different from what we saw 23 years ago. So I was rewatching the original the other night. And forgot how good it was, right? It's just a good, simple movie. Alien escapes, comes to Earth, befriends a 6-year-old girl, hijinks ensue. This movie is literally the same plot as that, but you might as well, and I'm going to go into a little bit of spoiler territory here. You might as well call this movie Nani the movie, featuring Lilo and Stitch, more so than calling it Lilo and Stitch. In the animated film, it really is about Lilo and Stitch's relationship and how Lilo learns to not be as selfish as she was because she's taking care of something else. And that does happen here. And the story of Nani and the social worker ends up being the B plot to the film. That's in the original. In this movie, quite frankly, that is the A plot of the movie. And I say this because they are leading you on constantly with this film. So in the original, and the same thing here, Lilo and Nani's parents die. We don't know how. We don't know why. We don't know really how long ago. We just know that Nani is young, still probably either teenager or early 20s, looking after her younger sister, who she has to leave on her own for long periods of time because she has to work and she's still battling a social worker. What's really funny in this, though, is the social worker is played by Tia Carrere, who played Nani in the original film. And their next door neighbor is played by Amy Hill, who was a voice in the original movie as a flower shop lady or something. And then Jason Scott Lee, who was the voice of David in the original movie, is the luau manager in this one. So they've got a couple of people that pop up here and there, but no Ving Rhames, right? No Kevin McDonald. I can understand David Ogden Stiers because he's unfortunately passed. I mean, don't even get me started with what they did with that character. In the original, David Ogden Stiers played Jumba. And, he's very he's very Russian type guy, And then here it's Zach Galifianakis. And I love me some Zach Galifianakis, but the voice didn't match the animation, right? The character. And then you have Billy Magnussen playing Pleakley. And he does his best Kevin McDonald impersonation in this one. But the weird thing is when they take on their human identities, they are their voice actors. You know what I mean? And it's an interesting way of doing it. And the fact that I know that kind of took me out. But I will say that you could tell Billy Magnussen was just having a lot of fun. And he's probably going well, Disney said that they wanted to do a movie based on my character from the Aladdin film from 6 years ago. So maybe this is the best chance I'll get for a sequel. And, and then of course, Courtney B. Vance is Cobra Bubbles. And he's good. He's very good. I love me some Courtney B. Vance, but he's no Ving Rhames in this role. And that was definitely something that was lacking. Having Hannah Waddingham playing the grand counselor or whatever the hell her name was. She did fine as being kind of the main antagonist of the movie, but the movie needed an antagonist, which ultimately ended up becoming Dr. Jumba, which is kind of sad because in the original, he stays on Earth, I believe, with Pleakley. And here it just, they kind of just go, he's now the bad guy. And in that level, it makes a lot of sense. You need an antagonist to set up the climax of the movie. And that's what they did here. And it works out, I think, okay. But at the same time, it's okay, it's a little different from the movie. But my biggest thing, okay, let's talk about the really good things here, because I'm kind of all over the place. So you know the story, right? Alien crash lands, befriends a girl to kind of cover his ass. He's kind of a terror, kind of breaks up the family a little bit. But at the end of the day, they all love each other and they all stay together. And that's Ohana means family. Well, I hate to break it to you. In this case, Ohana means foster care. That's my biggest complaint with this movie. I just got to talk about that. So again, the whole time they're like, hey, Nani, you know what you should do? You should go off and you should join the Marines, is what Lilo says. When in reality, it's the Marine Biologist School at University of California, San Diego, UCSD. Okay. San Diego's my hometown for 12 years. So I love San Diego. So that was kind of nice. And she can't go because even though she got a full scholarship, she's got to look after her sister, right? There's that responsibility factor. There's all the stuff that goes into that. Okay, fine, great. But then it's like the whole time they are just laying that on so thick, right? Like they don't say that Nani is a bad mom, but they're just like, we got to put Lilo first. Like we got to make sure Lilo's looked after. And they basically like guilt Nani into giving up custody of Lilo. And like they do that, like they basically do that in order to like make sure that otherwise they're going to take her away. So they're like, at least this way, it's kind of like her idea. And I didn't really like that. I thought that was kind of really like emotionally manipulative by the social worker, and then it's all like, she says something like, well, we have to say goodbye. And then Tia Carrere is like, no, we don't say goodbye. We say like whatever the word is. And until we see you again. Sort of thing. And like, I get that. I understand what they're trying to do. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit because I'm like, in the original, Nani wants to look after Lilo. Yes, there's a burden there. Yes, there's frustration there. But at the end of the day, she's taking on the role of being a mom. And here they're like, no, you need to look after yourself. And I got 2 kids, you know what I mean? And it's like, and I'm watching that and I'm all like, I'm getting kind of teary-eyed at the scene in the hospital when she kind of, makes that choice to kind of give up Lilo. And I'm like, man, I don't know, man. Like, could I give up my own kid like that if I was in that kind of situation and I just trying to make it work, but I couldn't, sort of thing. And I just feel like everyone was against her all the time. And that's what they like, ultimately what they wanted. And at the very end, the next door neighbor, who is like David's grandmother, is like, yeah, no, I'll watch her. Right. We'll foster her. Okay. Like, sure, yeah, Stitch can stay and I'll watch her. And then you can go to college in San Diego. And then they have this portal gun. And that's literally a portal gun is how they travel back and forth across the Pacific. It's a kid's movie. What do you expect, right? But it's a cute kid's movie. It's a really cute kid's movie. Stitch is great. Chris Sanders did a really good job recreating that character. Obviously, I mean, you have like the Lilo and Stitch animated movie, its sequel, its television show. I don't know how many sequels that they've done. So the character has been around for a long time, and I think that this version of it is definitely going to speak well to some of the younger kids that are out there. But I do feel that in a couple years, right, what you're going to get is people going like, yeah, I still prefer the original, and that's what they're going to go back to. And that's kind of what this movie is designed as. It's designed as a way to sell merch because Stitch is very marketable. It's designed to be a passable movie, which it is very passable. It's very fine. There are people out there who are not going to like the ending because they feel that it kind of slaps in the face of the original. And I won't dissuade their sentiment there. I think they're absolutely correct. I went into that knowing that, thinking I was going to probably hate it. I didn't hate it. I quite enjoyed the movie. But it's one, if I wanted to make a choice of watching the original or watching this one, what would I choose? And I would choose the original time and time again, because I just feel overall it works. This one takes elements of stuff that it does well. I will say this, the girl who plays Lilo, I forget her name right now. Oh my God, is she amazing. She is so funny. And she's so expressive. And she's so just like Dennis the Menace, but, Hawaiian and a girl. And she really kind of embodies that kind of characterization. And I thought that worked really, really well. She was really funny. If I had to kind of criticize the movie a little bit, it didn't have enough of the Stitch antics, right? Again, this movie's more about Nani and Lilo's, their relationship, than even Stitch and Lilo's relationship, despite the name. But as far as, Disney live action ones go, this one's up there. This one is definitely up there. I do think this is going to pull in $1 billion. And, I think people are going to really enjoy it. And even as I was leaving the theater today, I saw a family, mom, dad, kid, all rocking Stitch gear, all getting ready to go see the movie. And I saw people in my screening doing the same thing. So there is Stitch fever that's going on, just like Barbie did a couple years back, where people started wearing pink and rocking Barbie merch before going to the movie, and they're kind of doing the same thing here, which tells me that Lilo and Stitch is going to enter into event category status. Now, will other movies this summer be able to do the same thing? I don't know. I really don't know. Jurassic World and Superman definitely come to mind as being a possible. I don't see Fantastic Four doing that, not till we get to like maybe a sequel. But yeah, if you're looking for something safe to watch, this is something safe to watch. And if you're not too sure about it, just wait till it gets to Disney Plus in a couple months and give it a shot then. But in the meantime, just go watch the original. I think you can enjoy that right now. And then wait to check this one out later if you're unsure. I'm not going to say rush to the theater because it's not one that requires you to rush to the theater. Unless you have a kid you want to take to go see it. But to be fair, let me just kind of say this is the last thing. I want to point this out. Movie trailers are killing films. Both my daughters, 25-minute, trailer packages, waiting for the movie to start and kept going, when is it going to start? When is it going to start? And they were bored. And that, while they liked the movie, they were getting bored because of that length to get to the start of that film. And the movie wasn't like a lot of action to keep it flowing. Not that the pacing was bad, but again, this is more of a character thing versus watching an alien destroy certain things, right? There's like not as much of that as you would expect to hold younger kids' interests, but it's still a good movie, and Ohana still means like and subscribe.